Have you ever wondered why the same event can bring happiness to one person and suffering to another? The same rain falls, yet someone calls it beautiful while another complains. The same day passes, yet one feels peace while another feels exhausted and lost. The world outside hasn't changed, only the lens through which we see it. The ancients said, "The scenery changes with the mind." When the mind is calm, the world feels gentle. When the mind is disturbed, even silence becomes noise. A restless heart turns the smallest troubles into storms and simple words into wounds. When fear and doubt live within us, everything we see becomes a threat. But when peace lives in our heart, even chaos feels like music. Sometimes we think the world is against us, but often it's just our unsettled mind projecting its turmoil outward. The mind is a mirror. If it's covered with dust, everything reflected seems unclear. Peace, then, is not about fixing the world. It's about cleaning the mirror. There are people who live in the noise of cities, yet remain calm and kind, their smiles untouched by the world's storms. And there are others who live in comfort, yet feel heavy and restless every day. The difference lies not in what surrounds them, but in what breathes within them. A person who knows how to listen to their own heart can find stillness even in a storm, while a person who keeps chasing what they don't have will never feel complete even when surrounded by abundance. When the mind is restless, illusions arise. When anger fills us, the world looks wrong. When fear grips us, every road feels dark. When envy grows, we trust no one. Each negative emotion becomes a veil that hides truth, turning simple moments into battles and peace into something we keep chasing but never reach. That is why ancient wisdom teaches, before learning how to act, speak, or succeed, learn how to govern your mind. A mind that pauses before judging, that breathes before reacting, that listens before responding, such a mind is already walking toward peace. Everyone faces storms in life, but what makes us different is how we meet them. Some curse the rain, while others see it as a cleansing. When we stop running from discomfort and learn to accept it, we suffer less, because once we stop resisting, pain loses its power. A peaceful person is not one who avoids problems, but one who doesn't let problems rule their heart. When you stop chasing, life slows down. When you stop clinging, life releases its grip on you. The outer world is only a reflection of the inner. Life doesn't create chaos, our attachment does. The old saying goes, "One moment of anger burns a forest of virtue. One moment of peace cools 1,000 sorrows." Sometimes all it takes is a breath, a brief return to awareness to see that nothing is truly broken. The noise, the pain, the rush, they were only reflections of an unsettled heart. And when you realize that, you'll understand. You don't have to escape the world to find peace. You only need to return to yourself. Because when the mind is calm, the world becomes gentle. When your heart rests, life rests with it. And in that quiet space within you, you'll finally hear what you've been searching for all along. The sound of peace softly whispering your name.
Peace of mind is not something given by the world. It is something we learn to build within ourselves. The ancients understood this truth long before the noise of modern life began to drown it out. They said, "He who knows contentment is rich. He who lives in peace is free." True peace does not come from silence around us, but from silence within us. To keep the mind peaceful, one must first understand its nature. The mind moves like water. When calm, it reflects truth clearly. When disturbed, it distorts everything. So the first lesson of peace is awareness. Before reacting, pause. Before judging, breathe. When we learn to observe our emotions instead of becoming them, we begin to regain mastery over our own heart. In ancient philosophy, peace was never about escaping the world, but about being unshaken within it. A sage walking through chaos remains undisturbed not because chaos disappears, but because he has learned to anchor his mind in something deeper, an inner stillness that no storm can reach. That stillness is cultivated through three simple yet profound practices: acceptance, gratitude, and letting go. Acceptance is the art of seeing things as they are without resistance. We spend so much of our lives wishing the world were different that we forget to live in the world as it is. Acceptance does not mean surrendering to fate, it means recognizing reality so we can act with clarity rather than frustration. When you stop fighting the moment, you gain the power to shape it with calm intention. Gratitude, too, is a form of peace. When the mind remembers what it already has, it stops chasing what it lacks. Kolian taught that a heart that knows enough is never poor. Every breath, every sunrise, every act of kindness, they are all gentle reminders that life is already full. Gratitude transforms the ordinary into the sacred. It softens the edges of suffering, turning our gaze away from scarcity toward abundance. And then comes letting go, perhaps the hardest and most freeing lesson of all. We cling to people, outcomes, and memories, thinking they define us. But the more we cling, the more we suffer. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means releasing the illusion of control. It means trusting that what is meant for you will stay, and what is not will quietly leave to make space for what's next. Like leaves falling from a tree, we must learn to shed without fear, knowing that peace is not in holding on, but in flowing with time. In today's world, the ancient wisdom of peace feels more needed than ever. We are surrounded by constant movement, screens flashing, voices shouting, goals multiplying, and yet so many hearts remain restless. But peace does not ask us to abandon life. It asks us to live it differently, to move through the world with awareness, to listen more deeply, to speak less harshly, and to remember that no success can heal a mind in turmoil. Stillness is not laziness. It is power contained. A peaceful mind sees clearly, acts wisely, and loves gently. It is neither numb nor careless. It is awake. In that awareness, every challenge becomes a teacher. Every loss becomes an opportunity to grow, and every breath becomes a prayer of balance. To keep your mind peaceful, you must feed it with what nourishes it. Not endless noise, but moments of silence. Not constant comparison, but genuine gratitude. Not fear of the future, but trust in the present. Each day, give your mind the same care you give your body. Cleanse it of bitterness, rest it from worry, and fill it with beauty, compassion, and meaning. The ancients didn't find peace because their world was simpler. They found peace because they chose simplicity within. They understood that no one can calm your heart for you. Only you can choose peace, again and again, in every breath. When you start to practice peace, life begins to soften around you. People respond differently, circumstances flow easier, and somehow everything that once felt heavy starts to feel lighter. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. And that is the quiet power of an awakened heart, to remain calm in the storm and to turn even chaos into harmony.
When the mind becomes peaceful, The world begins to change, not in its form, but in how we see it. The rain still falls, the winds still blow. But within that rhythm, we start to hear something new: harmony. The same life that once felt heavy begins to feel lighter, as if the universe has finally exhaled with us. A peaceful mind does not mean a life without storms. It means the storm no longer rules the heart. When peace settles within, everything outside begins to align. Our words soften, our choices deepen, and our presence begins to soothe others without us even realizing it. Just as still water reflects the moon perfectly, a still heart reflects truth, unbroken, complete, and radiant. The ancients often said, "He who conquers himself is greater than he who conquers 1,000 men in battle." They understood that the real battlefield of life lies within us, not against others, but against our own unrest. When the mind stops fighting itself, clarity appears. When we stop demanding that life must obey our will, it begins to unfold with quiet grace. Peace is not weakness. It is wisdom in motion. It allows us to respond instead of react, to understand instead of accuse, to love without needing control. From that inner stillness, compassion blooms naturally. You begin to see that everyone, just like you, is carrying invisible battles. You no longer rush to judge or compete because you understand. The true victory in life is not to win against others, but to win against your own chaos. When the mind is peaceful, love becomes simpler. You give without needing to be seen. You forgive not because others deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. You listen not to reply, but to feel. And slowly, life begins to echo that peace back to you. In small coincidences, in gentle mornings, in moments where nothing happens yet everything feels right. To live with a peaceful heart is to live in alignment with the rhythm of nature itself. The sun rises and sets without hurry. The river flows without asking for direction. The tree loses its leaves each year without fear of being bare. They do not resist, they simply are. That is the secret the ancient sages tried to teach us. Peace is not something we chase, it is what remains when we stop running. Modern life often teaches us the opposite: to push, to strive, to always reach for more. But in the quiet wisdom of stillness, we learn that the deepest form of success is serenity. It is not how much we gather, but how lightly we can walk with what we have. It is not how far we go, but how calmly we can stand where we are. When your mind is peaceful, even pain has purpose. Sorrow no longer feels like punishment, it becomes understanding. Loss no longer breaks you, it opens you. And through that opening, light enters. That light is awareness. The moment you realize you no longer need to fight to feel alive. So pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Listen to your breath as it moves gently in and out. That rhythm is life itself, constant, quiet, and forgiving. Each breath is a reminder that you are still here, still capable of peace, no matter how loud the world becomes. When you choose to live with a peaceful mind, you begin to heal the world just by being in it. Because peace is contagious. It travels through your words, your silence, your presence. It softens the spaces around you. It touches people without ever needing to speak. And maybe, in the end, that is the highest purpose of being human. To bring calm where there is noise. To bring kindness where there is anger. To bring peace where there is pain. So if your heart feels heavy today, remember this. You do not need to control everything to find peace. You only need to return, again and again, to the quiet within you.
because peace is not a destination, it is a way of walking through life. If these words touched something in you, take a moment, just one, to breathe and feel your own stillness. Let it remind you that peace is not far away. It's already within you, waiting for your attention. And if you wish to walk this journey of calm and reflection with me, follow this channel. So together, we can learn to quiet the noise and rediscover the beauty of a peaceful mind in an ever-moving world.